about building up your referrals and how to get 10 referrals every single time. Let's give it up for District Manager, Miss Bri Galarza.
Oh, man. Guys, the energy is in this room right now, so I need you guys to be lit. Can you guys be excited for me in there? Yeah? Oh, I see some people. Oh, I like it. I like it. Well, how's everyone feeling? Good, good. Can you guys turn to the person sitting next to you and tell them your favorite nugget so far from all the messages that have been given so far? Turn real quick. Same thing with you guys.
I like the building the value.
Yeah, building value.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It helps people actually like ignore the price and see that the product is worth it.
Oh, so huge, so huge. All right. Hopefully y'all shared. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, I'm super excited about this message. Just to give you guys a little bit of background on me. So I started working with Cutco almost 7 years ago, and didn't think that I'd still be doing this, if we're being honest. But you know, when I first got started, I didn't have the fastest start. I think I sold like $200 my first weekend. Sold about 1,000 during my fast start. And I remember the second that I got my $6,000 promotion, it was right around my third month into the job, I hit this wall. And I remember I walked into my office, and my manager, Keena, at the time, I said, Keena, I can't phone jam today because I've got no one to call. And she legitimately was just like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and read page 16 to me. Go. Like if I'm your customer. And I was like, and I froze up completely. And then she was like, all right, that's your problem. You don't know page 16. And I was like, okay, that's super valid. So I remember she said, all right, why don't you go ahead and in between your phone calls during your phone jam tonight, it was a Thursday night phone jam. She said, I want you in between your phone calls, whenever you walk into different rooms, every single time you pass by a door, I want you to say the recommendation approach to the door, and I guarantee you'll get it memorized by tonight. So I did that. It took me 3 hours to get it memorized. After that, completely changed my business with Cutco, and I never had an issue with recommendations or not having enough people to call. So I cannot stress it enough. Biggest thing when it comes to the recommendation script is to get it memorized. And I'll kind of talk about why here in a few minutes. But as a representative, I didn't have the biggest average order. As a matter of fact, I know Braden talked about how it took him, 6 months to sell his first homemaker. It took me 1 year to sell my first homemaker. Did not have the biggest average order. As a matter of fact, I had an average order of $180, but I had tons of people to call. That was never an issue. I had so many people to call, and it was because I had that thing memorized. So in your notes, I want you guys to write down the first thing, which is a 10-80-10 rule with recommendations. 10% of people are not going to give you any. No matter how hard you try, no matter anything that you do, even if Drew asked them for recommendations, she would not give, just that 10% lady. 80% of people are going to give you at least 10 to 15. 10 to 15 if you follow the stuff that we're about to go over here today. At least 10 to 15. And then 10% of people, the last 10, my favorite 10, are the runners. The people that are literally going to dump out their entire cell phone, their entire directory, their entire address book because they believe in you. And they're like, I really want to help you graduate debt free, so let me give you 50 plus people for you to focus on. Matter of fact, Brandon, one of my newest guys, actually just had 50 recommendations given to him yesterday on one of his demos. It's possible. That's that 10% that we look forward to, right? So 10-80-10. And I want you guys to think about it a step further. And I want you guys to think about the stuff that we incorporate from this message right now. If we incorporate it into our demos this week and next week, it's going to set you up completely to have way too many people to call for Summer Conference 1 push. And you're going to have a $6,000 to $10,000 push just by using the nuggets right here. All right, so I remember this one lady that I saw. She didn't buy anything. I was super bummed. I was like, oh, I really want to make a sale. But we built such a good connection that she gave me 20 recommendations, sent out a yes text. So she sent out a text to all her friends saying, hey, this girl Bri, she goes to school at Metro. She's awesome. She's going to show you a really cool product. Help her just by sitting there and watch her. And out of the 20 recommendations, by the way, after the demo, she was that lady that still sent me more text messages with more contacts because she believed in me. Those are the best kind. So she gave me, out of those 20 that she initially gave me and sent out text messages for, 15 out of the 20 saw me for a demo, bought some stuff, whether it's a set or pieces or whatever the case might be. But that entire list produced over $7,000 in sales just from one lady giving me 20 recs. Let's go, guys. Y'all want that? Where's the energy? Do you guys want some of that? Yeah. All right. So my first tip when it comes to recommendations is, first key, there's a total of 6, so bear with me. First key is rapport is key. Rapport is key. As a brand new rep, I used to skip rapport so quickly because I was like, I really want to make the sale, so I'm just going to dive into the sale right away. And it didn't occur to me until afterwards how important rapport is to recommendations. I remember this one time I was getting a haircut a few months ago, and the lady was one of those ladies that you could just tell hates her job. Have you guys encountered that before? Hates her job completely. She was cutting my hair. And I was trying to like build a connection, build a rapport with her. Like, hey, how's your day going? She's like, good. Okay, nice. How long have you been doing this? 4 years. Okay. All right, I'm just going to stop now. Thank you for that. And then by the time I went over to give her a tip when I was doing the card stuff, her attitude completely changed on me. She was like, oh my gosh, hey girl, hey, you look so good today. That's a good, like, try to build rapport out of thin air because she knew that I was about to give her a tip. You don't want to be that kind of a person. You don't want to be that rep that walks into a demo 100% all about the sale and then out of nowhere ask for recommendations because you're not going to get any, right? So first thing when it comes to building rapport that you really want to focus on is being a friend versus being a salesperson. Being a friend versus being a salesperson. I've had customers that invite me to stay over for dinner. I've had, customers that call me days later asking me if I've hit my goal because they're so invested in me because we built such a good connection. That's the importance behind developing a friendship versus just a sale and then getting out and moving on to the next one. So with rapport, a really good line that I would highly encourage you guys to incorporate is, hey, Mrs. Jones, I love my job. I know you're going to love Cutco, but one of my goals is for us to be friends first. I love my job. I know you're going to love Cutco, but one of my biggest goals first and foremost is for us to be friends. So tell me a little bit about yourself, right? Everyone loves to talk about themselves, right? Like, I love talking about myself. I love talking about everything that we've achieved as an office. I love talking about my staff and how well they're doing. People love to talk about themselves. They just want you to open up that door so that way they could just spill everything on you about their kids, about their life, about their whole story, right? So open up the door. Hey, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for a living? How long have you done it? Follow-up questions, right? So don't just jump topics from left to right on her. What are some of your hobbies? Get to know her like a buddy. What are your plans for Memorial Day weekend? Do you have a lot of friends and family coming over? By the way, those are the people that you're going to ask for recommendations at the very end. So that's why you want to ask those kind of questions. Oh, do you have a lot of family out here? Oh, most of your family is out of state. Okay, cool. So then now you're going to know who to ask for from out of state, right? So my next key number 2, is planting seeds throughout the demo. Planting seeds throughout the demo. So planting a seed, planting an idea of someone that you're going to later on ask for a recommendation. You're going to be a ninja about it. So during your goal section, so right up front during rapport, you just said, I want to be your buddy first and foremost, right? So you developed a good connection. During my goal section, I think it's on page 1 in your manuals, when you're talking about your goals and why you're excited about the opportunity and what you're trying to achieve with Cutco. One of my goals that I've said since day 1, I think for the last 5 years, when I started incorporating this, when I learned this at a division meeting, is this goal right here, which is one of my biggest goals is for you to like me enough to introduce me to your friends and family. So I'd highly encourage you guys to jot that down. One of my biggest goals is for you to like me enough to introduce me to your friends and family. Second time, we just planted the seed on recommendations. right? So we want to make sure that it's like she's understanding from beginning to end that you're going to ask for recommendations. It's not going to be a surprise, right? So, hey, Mrs. Jones, one of my biggest goals is for you to like me enough to introduce me to your friends and family, kind of like I was referred to you by your friend Susie, and how actually so-and-so recommended me to Susie, and then you can kind of like do like a line of all the people that got referred to get you to that one customer. And then it's like, oh, everyone does it, so that totally makes sense, right? It's no longer weird if you just listed off every person that you got recommended to get to her finally. So that is a good seed right there. Another really good seed that I always like to ask, sometimes you'll get someone, sometimes you don't. During the junk knives page, I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, who do you know that has a drawer that looks just like this, right? And then it's like, oh, my grandma has a drawer like this. Oh, my best friend has one that looks like this, right? And she lists off maybe one, maybe two, maybe none. But those people that she just listed off, you could ask for later on when you're asking for recommendations. Another one of my favorite ones is during the names and uses. I love the spatula spreader. My team knows it. Like, I get crazy about it during training. I do this B-sharp joke where if you don't know what the B-sharp joke is, ask your DM. But I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, after I explain it, after we do things with the spatula spreader, I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, if I gave you this spatula spreader, who would be the 5 people that you'd be able to give this to, right? Who'd be the 5 spatula spreader that you can give this to? And then she'd be like, oh, well, my so-and-so likes baking, so-and-so likes sandwiches, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. She might list off 1, she might list off all 5, but those are all other people that you're going to ask for at the very end. So key number 3 is have your scholarship notebook set up the right way. Have your scholarship notebook set up the right way. Cannot stress it enough how so many people show up to a demo, and it blows my mind that they wonder why I didn't get any recommendations when they just show up with a blank sheet to their customer and just say, here you go write down Rex, when there's like nothing on there and it looks super sketch, like what should I do? So have it properly set up beforehand. I like to set up a good 2 to 3 already ahead of me in case the lady's one of the runners that just continues flips through and continues writing down. So make sure that you have more than one set up. But just like Drew talked about during training and all your other managers talked about, super, super important that you guys incorporate the little, the smiley faces, the stars at 5, 10, 15, 20 for the benchmarks. And most importantly, number it to the very bottom of your sheet. Don't stop just at 10 or at 11. Sometimes I've seen that too, because she's only going to stop at 10 and she's going to think that's the only number. So you want to make sure that you number it to the very bottom of your sheet. And another thing that I just started doing with my team is I like to, on the notebook, let her know, like I write down record. My record for recommendations is blank. So I'd highly encourage you guys to your recommendation notebooks right next to whatever the lady's name that referred you to write down next to that, my record is blank. So that way when you encounter a really competitive Mrs. Jones, you tell her, oh, by the way, this is my record. So if you break the record, you're going to be the new record holder that I talk about every single demo. I've had customers that are super amped up like, I'm beating it, and they just recommend me a ton of people just because they want to do that. So make sure that you incorporate a record and you let her know about it. Cool. And then next key is ask with confidence. Next key is ask with confidence. So I want you guys to put yourselves in your customer's shoes. How awkward do you look when you're asking for recommendations? Be completely honest, right? So I used to do this before where I'd build a really good connection and then I'd ask for the order, I'd sell, whatever on the demo, and then I would get super wimpy, sweaty, red in the face right when I asked for recommendations because I was so nervous for it. Like I was just like, oh my gosh, like here it comes. All right. Look over to my page. Hey, Mrs. Jones, how'd you like my demo? Great. Pull out your cell phone because there's one more very important part. Here's where you can really help me out. I get paid every time I show cat code, but I can only show it to people that I've been personally recommended to. So what I need you to do while I'm cleaning up is jot down 100 people. Just kidding, 10 to 15, and you must look so awkward because you're so nervous, right? So put yourselves into her shoes. Is she going to want to give you all her friends, all her family, if she thinks that you're going to be super awkward with them too? Probably not, right? So be super smooth when you ask for it. Even if you are reading off the manual until you get it memorized, ask with confidence like you get 30 to 50 every single demo. I remember a lady that I saw, she gave me 30 recommendations. She wrote down to the very bottom of the sheet. I was like, cool, here you go. Thank you so much. Here's a vegetable peeler for helping me out. Really, really appreciate it. And then the next demo off of one of her customers, I said to the lady, hey, everyone actually gives me to the very bottom of the sheet. It's just super natural. Look at your friend. She gave me 30. So here's her sheet, though. Here's her sheet. Here you go. She wrote down to the very bottom. I was like, oh, just got 60 recs on 2 demos. Let's go. And so I did the same thing again. And again, 4 ladies in a row gave me 30 recommendations. Just because I asked with confidence, like I got 30 every single time, which I totally didn't up until that point. Ask with confidence. I cannot stress it enough. And second to last tip is handle the biggest 2 to 3 objections with confidence. So whenever you get an objection, sometimes we kind of retreat like, oh, she just gave me a no because she doesn't feel comfortable, or she wants to give me the sheet, and you don't know how to respond to it. Kind of like when we first got the no at the homemaker and we got super nervous and we didn't know where to go. When in doubt, read the manual page at page 17 for your objections, but anticipate the objection. So kind of like Drew talked about, usually 1 to 2 customers get the homemaker set. Expect that 90% of the people, 80 to 90% of the people are going to give you some sort of objection. Anticipate it, because then you're not going to be surprised and caught off guard, right? So make sure that you have that open and you're just able to read it off with a ton of confidence. You know, whenever they tell you that they don't feel comfortable doing it, keep in mind, sometimes it's not because you did anything wrong. It has to do with she had a terrible experience with another salesperson, and that's the reason why she's terrified. It's not because of you personally. So don't take it personally if you ever encounter that, like, oh, I don't do that. It's just because, you know, she had a bad experience with it. Calm her down. Hey, no worries, Mrs. Jones. It's just going to be me calling them. Totally, you know, appreciate your help anyway. Can you just think of a few people? We can even call them or text them right now to make sure that it's okay. If you're super smooth and just handle her objection calmly, she's going to be okay with giving you a few, right? So just make sure that you know your objections, that you handle it on page 17. And my last key, my favorite key, is yes leads. All right, so I want you guys to jot down yes leads with a billion exclamation points, because it's my favorite thing on the planet, getting a yes lead. By the way, getting a yes lead or multiple yes leads, getting an entire yes list makes your 5 before, 5 after the easiest thing on the planet. Because literally, I remember I had a demo with this one lady who she gave me automatically 15 recommendations. She was just like, oh, here we go, boom. And then I had her send out the text message. And kid you not, in my car, I called through all the people that said yes right up front on the text message. And I booked up and I did an alley-oop piggyback to a different demo. The lady, when I showed up, had an ultimate set and a homemaker set. I was like, oh, wow. She still bought cookware and other things and accessories too, just from the lady that initially gave me that list, right? So with the yes leads, super, super important that we send out that text on the appointment. Because I've had customers tell me, oh, yeah, I'll send it out for you. I'll send it out. See you. Bye. And then they never send it out, and it's super awkward, right? So what I like to do just to make sure that she does it on the appointment, and this is key because I know some people like to clean up really fast. So when you're doing the demo and you ask for recommendations and everything is still a mess, take your time until she is absolutely completely done writing down a list of leads for you guys on the demo. But still, don't be completely done, because what I always like to do is I leave a mess and I go to the bathroom, take my time in the bathroom, you know, get stuff. When I come back, she's still working on it. But if the second that you look like you're completely done, she's going to feel rushed, and she's not going to want to send out the text message because it feels like, you know, she's in a rush too, and she wants you to get out, you know, XYZ, right? So leave it a mess still look like you got some things that you got to pick up. And what I always do is I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, so thank you so much for this list of 15. High five. You just made my day. I'm on pace to winning that scholarship all because of you. You're a lifesaver. Make her feel good. Oh, by the way, there's actually one more super, super important part. Can you go ahead and send out a quick text message just to give them a heads up that I'll be calling them? It makes it 10 times easier to get hold of them. And it also, you know, they understand that you're the one that recommended me and everything like that. Can you go ahead and send out that text message? Actually, I just texted you. Did you get that? And I automatically write, oh, yeah, I just got it. Yeah, so it just says that a super sweet, ridiculously awesome, goal-driven young lady named Bri is going to be calling all of them. And, you know, she's winning a scholarship, and it's really, really important. So just be expecting your call. Yeah, you just got that. Do you know how to forward text message? Let me show you, Mrs. Jones. And I'm, like, walking her through it. She's like, oh, actually, yeah, you could help me. Cool, 1, 2. Oh, that's how you forward messages. That's so, I've been doing it wrong the whole time. Cool. Yeah, I just learned something new, Mrs. Jones. I got you. And then she sends it out. I like walk her through it on the appointment. The first time that you do it, I guarantee it's going to be super awkward, and I promise you it is. But the more that you get comfortable with it, the more natural it's going to be after a while. Make sense? So now everyone, that entire list of 10, 15, 20 has all a yes texts. They're all expecting your call. So when you do your 5 before, 5 after, or 7 before, 7 after, that's an easy 3 to 5 demos you just built up from that one list. That takes away hours of your phone time just for doing the yes text. All right. So I think that is time.
Awesome. Let's give
Cool.
Bri a round of applause. Thank you, Bri. Just ran into our display case. That is an immovable object that I just